This one's probably going to go in the fuck this video folder. But I want to explain to Fred that we are brains, we are humans, we are human beings, we are animals, we are a product, a thing of nature. Not just a product, a thing of nature. We are nature. And when you realize that, you realize how silly it is to sort of attribute the level of intelligence and rationality that we think we can attribute to ourselves. We are just biochemical events. And hey, I get why it's so hard to imagine that the human being is a bunch of neurons, to reduce the human experience to neurons, because it feels like it's all this, so intelligent and rational and all these feelings and emotions. That can't be cells, but honey, it is. Honey, you are nature. And there's a part of that message that should be really appealing to you, and I was hoping that it would be to Fred. You know, the we are nature thing. He was talking about what we're doing to the environment and how big of a problem it is and what, and we have to do something about it. And I've been really on a critical recognition kick lately, thinking that term best describes the most fundamental thing we lack, which is recognizing sort of what we are. And once we recognize what we are, we go, wait, so we're just a bunch of neurons? Oh, so it's pretty amazing that those neurons can do what they can do. But maybe I shouldn't ask too much of them. Maybe I shouldn't be thinking they're seeing everything like people tell me. So that's so funny. A friend of mine said that he tells me he sees everything. He didn't. Never mind. Anyway, I'm not that shocked that neurons can produce my experience, or that neurons can experience an experience. I mean, that like networks can sort of have this thing that then other neurons would call an experience. That doesn't surprise me. I don't think we're magical. I don't think we're all that smart. And I don't think we have the relationship to truth that we think that we do. It's been a great frustration of mine how often people just confidently say wrong things. I guess that's a frustration of everybody's, but I and just like everybody else, but I really do think that I'm justified here. But I don't know. But I just think that I have a sort of, anyway. When I have confidence in an idea, and I'll never be certain of anything, but when I have confidence in it, I'm obsessive in my standard. It's just lucky. This is just the way I'm wired. And not even actually lucky, because life would have been a lot easier if I was okay with, if I could just, do life rather than, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right. Is there a better answer? Is there a better answer? I'm just like, there is such a thing as truth. And I know we all think that we have it. But the thing is, I don't think that I have it. But I do think that I'm closer to it or I'm just less wrong because I've caught more errors, and also I've trusted more scientists. I've trusted more research. Anyway. So I want to say that basically what happened is that in the history of man, or in the history of the world, nature, there are pieces of nature that complexified, such that there are lots of pieces of nature that can send out sound waves, sort of based on events in the environment, non-physical events, so based on other sound waves, based on visual information. One such system is the human nature piece. So the piece of nature that we label the Homo sapiens, that reproducing piece of nature. And at some point, that piece of nature became a problem solver. Can't solve all problems, whatever, but was the first species to develop. No, not the first species, but I just don't want to. I don't want to say that we have this magical problem-solving ability. So I wanted to reduce it by saying we're just the first species to have some of it, but that's not really true. There are other species that have some problem-solving ability. So we got more than them, a little more than them, significantly more than them. Maybe not in literally the amount, but it's significant because of the consequences of even that small difference. Anyway, and so then there are these things, ideas, being able to be so easily transmitted, and the plasticity of the human brain is, because thanks to the cortex, is unlike other brains, and so there's this incredible ability to learn in a generation. The genes can learn, and that's great, but you can learn, the organism can learn a lot faster because he's got these neurons that are able to change with so easily, so much for these changes to be integrated, and so much of the system not integrated. Of course, we are not integrated, but for there to be more integration of this information and that, for us to allocate more energy to it. So 3% of our mass, I think, or maybe I'm getting confused because it's like 3 pounds, or is it 3 kilograms? There's numbers 3 definitely is involved. Definitely uses 20% of your energy. Whoa, okay, so we're this species, we're sending all this oxygen and glucose and all this into the skull, and so that's why a thing is able to come in here and get a whole bunch of processing, a whole bunch of reactions in here, and another thing come out. So fantastic. And when that happened, one of those transmissions, those ideas was, hey, we can talk. That means we're like special. And actually, so there's nature and there's us. And in fact, I think we might have even been put in here from another one of us, but with slightly more power and slightly more knowledge up there. We didn't even, I mean, he used this stuff to make us. Granted. I'm from the dirt. She's from my side. But yeah, that was just for the material, and then he breathed a bit of himself into us. So we are these you know what, maybe not a fuck this video folder for this one, because we're having fun, aren't we? So anyway, so these complicated animals, these animals with these complicated processing systems, which were able to do a whole lot of stuff by just looking at the stuff around it. Everything around me was made by this animal, in fact. So hold on. But just by looking at this stuff, and by talking, and by a little piece of information here, bouncing around between brains, bouncing around inside brains, and then it would become a bigger thing. And one of those big things was, yeah, we actually aren't really from here. Like, our flesh is made of this place, but we're actually kind of angels. Not, I won't say quite as smart, that's blasphemous, but we're basically, and so no. So I wanted to tell Fred, at some point, these nature objects, which are still objects, I'm still a nature object, but these nature objects started fancying themselves not nature objects. Started thinking about their relationship to nature or not. All right, so two interesting things happened. He had two responses that are why I started recording this video. One, he, part one of one, he said, yeah, the Indians. Because I started to say something that he kind of misunderstood, but that's actually exactly where I wanted to go with it. Because he loves Indian spirituality and Native American stuff. And so, so I wanted to say to him, early humans didn't have the same disrespect for nature that we do, where we were just totally above it. And it's like, it's just the ground we walk on. And he's saying, and something, I don't remember what I had said, but very early on, before I was ready to get to the Native Americans, because I was going to mention that anyway, because I know everyone likes them. He says, yeah, the Indians. And I was like, all right, that's not what I was saying, but that's what I was going to say, that indeed there are early people that we have, information about, that, that even Homo sapiens that have maintained some connection to nature. Now, what's interesting, so part two of this first thing, is that he said they call it animism. And yeah, so when I had been sort of planning this, what I was going to say, it's not something I do often, but I didn't want to, I'm sort of in my head today, and I want to stay in my head today, be thinking. And so, anyway, I was going to say, like, I was thinking about how when I say to him that we are animals, but then we got fancy and we're like, oh, actually we're not. And that was a real disconnect from nature. When we did that, we disconnected ourselves from nature, and so it made it much easier to not have a healthy relationship to nature. And I was thinking about how I had thought about how when I think of primitive peoples, which I probably wouldn't have said those words, but that's what he said. And so now there was definitely a mechanism I would have said those words, but another mechanism would have corrected that in this video here as I'm talking to you. But he's got that locked in now, so he gave a lot of power to my primitive people's voice. So that's what's being said. I can't even think of any other way to say it. Early, I don't know. Anyway, so I thought about primitive people. I hate it. And nature. And can we just say good people? I don't know. And nature, and there's almost a reverence for nature. Now, that said, I don't think that they have a true, in a sense, relationship to nature where they're like, oh, you're a bunch of molecules, I'm a bunch of molecules that just happen to be here, you're a bunch of molecules that just happen to be here. Cool. It's instead, so my complaint on this channel is that human beings think that we are these souls. And some people who you don't picture on an iPhone, using an iPhone, let's just put it that way, they kind of gave spirits, some of them gave spirits to a lot of different things. They gave spirits to everything. And best fact, in fact, once this nature object, the human beings, started having the sense of spirit, they attributed it to everything, didn't they? I bet they did. That's an interesting way to look at the history of the sense of self. So humans, of course. No, not fuck this video. That's so fun. So you got these dogs, you got these monkeys. Monkeys, they've got some sort of ideas, thoughts, kind of, emotions, social stuff, And so they're not thinking, oh, I'm this special thing from dogs. So the monkeys keep evolving a little bit. The apes, the chimps, and then you get these bipedals. And maybe all of the, I don't know, all the bipedal Homo species, Neanderthals, author, blah, 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 Erectus, blah, 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 whoever, fuck, I really thought I had it. So they all got some cool problem-solving abilities, some cool cortical development, some big brains, lots of connections. Connections means things being put together, such as a sense of self. This image and this sound, it's getting processed in here. I'm a thing. I'm a soul. So then they were all like, so then that's a soul too. And they probably thought that they could hear plants. A lot of people think that we can like communicate with blah, 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 blah. I interviewed a guy, he said he could send the color. No, he could, what could he do with dogs? Oh no, that was with children. He could send a color to them. So these early humans, we didn't start out thinking that we were special. We first thought that we were souls and thought everything had a soul. I mean, this is just, a possibility, but it sort of makes sense based on my non-iPhone imaginings about, those people. So it's a coherent narrative, so my brain's all about it. It's singing hard. And it puts it in perspective, I think, the silly unfortunateness of... Okay, so anyway, so these chimps, they were like, or these bipedals, let's say it was, they're like, yo, I gotta... No, I bet chimps do have some kind of entity. They definitely 100% do, don't they? Yeah. I don't know, you have to look at the default mode network research or whatever. But I now that I think about it, I feel Neo probably has it. So okay, so I'm guessing a lot of beings have a sort of a sense of self. Okay. Yeah, obviously. Okay. So I'm a early bipedal, and I'm a hunter-gatherer, bop. Got my dogs, got the other animals I interact with. No, but I'm super early. I gotta imagine slightly different skull, okay? And I am just the first animal to be able to describe what we are. So I'm talking to my dog. I'm saying, oh man, I wish you had language. You're a soul. I'm a soul. I wish we could talk about this, but whatever. We're connecting. You're making facial expressions. I'm making facial expressions. I'm adding a little bit more to the activity behind your facial expressions. And I'm probably starting to add a little bit, starting to assume there's more going on behind the activity of my facial expressions too. Okay, so that's what's happening. We're evolving together. Of course, here, the ones of you that we like are the ones who mimic our facial expressions well and have facial expressions that correspond to ours such that we can communicate well. So this is just further enforcing for me souls, magic, blah, blah. Okay, yeah. So then this is just your physical body, because you're a thing in there. I'm a thing in here. Physical body, okay, there's an afterlife, okay, cool. And then maybe for millions of years, between having some semblance of human language and, let's say, the first monotheistic, no, let's say the first theistic religions, when it was animism, when it was that we are all spirits. So for millions of years, we were just spirits sharing this earth with all these other spirits. And I bet it was unthinkable to them that a dog has to be on a leash all the time in a city, and that a person's allowed to get upset if a dog comes and sniffs him. What are you talking about? I'm a spirit in this world. That dog's a spirit in this world. Sometimes a spirit's gonna come close to me. We're living in a fucking city. What are you talking about? That spirit doesn't necessarily mean me any harm. Why would I think that spirit means me any harm? Okay. Then all of a sudden, something happens, and explanations for this already exist, surely, so we could just Google it if it wasn't an E-Day today. Something happens, and we're like, whoa, actually, we're not like y'all. We're not like y'all. Y'all can't keep up with us anymore. I'm having conversations with the dog, and he's not keeping up anymore. So we're not having the same conversations we were having millions of years ago. And all of our anything that could have been a competitor in the problem-solving game. So we're like, okay, so we're different. So, and obviously we didn't come from this. We didn't come from the dirt. I mean, okay, maybe we did. Maybe we did. Like, this stuff came from the dirt. But this, the thing talking right now? No. I'm made in the image of the all-powerful, all-knowing, all-seeing. Angry man above me. Okay. That's an idea. I don't know what it. I've just heard what idea. I don't know. I felt like we had an epiphany there. I felt like we discussed some interesting things there. We have to name it, figure out what it is, articulate it in a sentence, and then name it and see whether it's a thing. All right, so what is that? We're not ready. We haven't finished the story. The second thing that he said, 23 minutes in, the second thing that he said was, yeah, absolutely. We are connected to nature. I'm like, you're not feeling it, bruv. We literally are nature. It's not that we're connected to nature. It's not that we are literally nature. If you take a step back, imagine some intelligent species in the future or on another planet, they're looking and they watch a time lapse of the Earth. There was no arrival of souls on the planet. It was just molecules doing this, plants doing this, and doing this, and doing that, and doing that. And then there are these bodies that are doing that, and then they build those things worldwide. And nature just building stuff. Okay? The only thing we are not unnatural. This is unnatural. I guess. I don't know. Is the bird's nest unnatural? I don't know. Words. Important words, but not words we're going to try to deal with now. But we are. And when we start putting chips in, maybe that would qualify as unnatural. I don't know. But, oh yeah. So if you take the perspective of modified humans, of what are they called? Cyborg or whatever humans, or synthetic, whatever, where they're part machine, part organic. Yeah, they're watching this video right now. Whoa, that's so cool. An unmodified bipedal talking. Um, had no upgrades to his interpretive mechanisms, no AI upgrades, which is why he's talking such nonsense now. But you can you can you can admit, for the other members of his species, he was doing pretty good. And even if he didn't have great interpretive mechanisms, the thing is that he knew he didn't, right? And he knew he was a brain, right? And so, hey kids, what classroom is this being shown in? Yep, I'm a monkey. Here I am, literally no AI. I'm just a totally organic carbon or organic or just whatever's not, I don't, this is how I function. So, I probably am just, I know you understand what I'm saying, but it probably just sounds so dumb to you and so simple, huh? And also so slow. Can I tell you something? And I know I can't be like you and I are pals and we're looking down on modern man. I get that. And you're probably laughing that I get that. I get that. Here I am in the cage with all these other shit throwing monkeys. And, you are real intelligence and stuff. I understand that. I'm not even asking you to let me out. I just want to take a second and talk about what it's like in here. I asked my friend the other day why he threw shit. And he gave me this whole 5-minute explanation. And there were a lot of actual words that are in our dictionaries. But there was no, it didn't make any sense. It wasn't but to him it made sense. And you know what? If you sent me back here and you're here. I've started imagining you wrong. I'm sorry. I'm a human, completely unmodified and really non-functioning brain. I will tell you, although I understand some things that my other organisms don't, they are more, they don't look like such, they don't look as primitive as I do. They have like these, it probably looks silly to you, but they do. They wear all these claws and this even looks like fur, doesn't it? Oh my gosh, what do I look like? But yeah, but I know what I am. I know what I am. So I was gonna lick myself, but that's going too far. So anyway, I do actually really need to clean. I actually really do need to lick myself. We don't have water. This island has a water problem. I need to wash. I do need to wash. I do need to wash because I don't have any AI modifications. My brain got complicated, and lots of members of my species, for some of us, it's possible to literally for it to itch and for us to still not just take some water and take, the soap material and wash. Because, anyway, so I just wanted to say I might be a smart member of my species, but I wouldn't describe myself as a functional or presentable member. And don't edit that part out because I don't want to give a bad name to my 21st century morons. So all right, so that's pretty cool. So here's then what I was thinking about saying. I was gonna record. Imagine you have some Play-Doh, okay, and you make a world, okay. You make some objects on that world, some trees, okay, and then you make some little animals, okay. Make some animals that stand on 2 feet with the Play-Doh. That's what happened. Not literally what happened, but that's what happened. It's all the same material. It's not like, okay, so you made your world, and then, as some would think, and then you went like this. Boop, I'm going to put in now magical beings. And this world is their floor.